Oh, hello everyone! Let me guess, you have been looking for a recipe of iconic Italian dessert, a tiramisu. If yes, you have come to the right place. Now, tiramisu is super beginner friendly. It doesn't require any unusual ingredients, any rare techniques. It doesn't even need baking. But what if I want to go an extra mile and execute an ultimate tiramisu recipe? Let's dive in. First step is no biggie. Brew around 300 milliliters of espresso. I'm opting for my automatic espresso machine, but really any technique will do. I need to dip ladyfinger cookies into this coffee, so I pour it in a slightly bigger bowl and set it aside. Now an average tiramisu recipe at this point will call to add a couple of spoons of rum, but the recipe that I'm following, which claims to be an authentic one, actually mentions a Marsala wine. It is a fortified wine produced in a region surrounding Italian city Marsala in Sicily. I mix 2 tablespoons in and let it sit for a while. Step 2. Mascarpone cheese. There is absolutely nothing wrong with store-bought mascarpone cheese, but when I was researching for this video I found out that I can easily make my own one at home. All you need is heavy cream and a little bit of lemon juice. Warm up the heavy cream over the low heat until it will reach a temperature between 82 and 85 degrees C. Now this step is actually crucial, so you will require a kitchen thermometer for that. Once the temperature is reached, turn off the heat and add strained lemon juice. Keep stirring your mixture until you see that it starts to thicken up a little bit. Now cover the saucepan and let it sit for at least 1 hour. After that, place a clean cheesecloth, here I'm using just a baby muslin, over a large bowl with a strainer. Pour the liquid into the bowl, and the liquid passing through the cloth and through the strainer is the one that you will need to discard. Now this process will go for at least 24 hours, so just let this concoction sit in the fridge overnight. Step 3. Savoiardi cookies or ladyfingers. These cookies have golden color, creamy consistency and delicious crunchy crust. Just as mascarpone cheese, they can be easily made at home. Start with separating the eggs into egg whites and egg yolks. Put egg whites in a large mixing bowl and start whipping them. As you see kind of a beer foam on top of it, add sugar and keep beating until you end up with stiff, shiny meringue. Now briefly beat the yolks and incorporate them into your meringue. Last step would be to add sieved flour and starch in several batches while mixing them with a spatula from bottom up. I mix until there are no lumps and then I transfer the mixture into piping bag with a round piping tip, either small one, and I pipe thin logs onto my baking sheet. Here I'm using actually the real store-bought ladyfinger to keep in mind how long this should be. Sprinkle the cookies with granulated sugar and sugar powder and bake at 190 to 200 degrees depending on the oven for 7 to 9 minutes. Step 4. Mascarpone cream. And we are back to separating the eggs again. And this time we need to beat eggs without sugar until the mixture becomes dense and stops from moving around the bowl. Back to yolks, I mix it with sugar and beat with hand mixer until the mixture gets lighter and fluffier. Next, I incorporate the mascarpone cheese and mix it with whisker and later with silicone spatula. Now it's finally time to reunite the egg whites and egg yolks and carefully mix it with a spatula from bottom up to prevent losing all that air that we incorporated into the egg whites. Step 5. Assembly. Finally, we have everything we need for a tiramisu, so let's just go ahead and assemble it. For this step you will need a baking pan, something like a lasagna casserole would work perfectly. I'm using a see-through glass one so you can actually see what is going on in there. Dip ladyfingers into coffee and place them at the bottom of the plate. Now the homemade ladyfingers are super fragile and crumbly, so literally dip them for half of a second. Once the bottom of the plate is completely covered with ladyfingers, spread around a half of the mascarpone mixture and level it with a spatula. Now repeat the whole process once again or as many times as your dish allows you, finishing with the mascarpone cream. Sprinkle your tiramisu with unsweetened cocoa powder And yeah, there you go. Just let it sit for 3-4 hours and your tiramisu is done. Now I'm officially done with the scripted part of this video. And yeah, I let my mascarpone sit overnight. But this would do as well. I'm cutting a piece. Looks amazing. Looks just as mascarpone should look. It's also very creamy. I'm a bit scared that this piece would fall apart. Let's try to transfer it. Okay. Let's dive in. It's actually very good. I will definitely do it again. This is actually very good. I cannot stop eating. And I'm on a diet. Yeah, this recipe approved. I will link it down in the description bar below. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and see you in the next chapter of my baking adventures.